Hell broke Lucy. Had to wait till this idea became radical before I wanted to speak on it, because I only usually like talking on radical ideas. But it's the Bernie or nobody idea. I've never gotten on this bus, and I won't, because there's a lot of anti-establishment people, and I'm one of them. I'm anti-establishment, who think it's either anti-establishment or bust or do nothing. And they're failing to realize the shithole we're going to be going down if, through our animosity between Hillary and Bernie, we should fuck up and allow a Cruz or a Trump in. Now, Hillary is the establishment. Less so than she used to be, but she still is. The plus side about Hillary is Bernie has drug her further to the left on many issues than she started out a bunch of months ago. So let's think about that positive. The other positive is the FBI has the email situation. The FBI been a nonpartisan law enforcement agency. Of course, I'm sure someone has bought an FBI agent here and an FBI agent there, even since the days of Herbert Hoover. Not Herbert Hoover, who started that goddamn FBI mess. I'll think of it in a second. Getting senile. That's to be left to the authorities. Benghazi's bullshit. Total goddamn bullshit. It's a war zone. Shit happens so fast you can't hardly keep up with it. I'm sure there was a mistake and a misstep there, or those 4 patriots would not be dead. On the other hand, 50-some ambassador to the U.S. died in the Middle East under George Bush, and nobody politicized it. Get the fuck over Benghazi. Just if a Republican brings up Benghazi, just say you're stupid. My problem with Hillary is she don't talk hard enough on the banks and on Wall Street, which is at the core problem of our economy. Bernie, in my opinion, is as close to a perfect opportunity for a president that this country's seen since FDR. He's not going to just make it so that the poor have an extra cookie to eat. He's got programs lined up to bring the poor out of where they're at. Through social programs, through public programs, because the private sector has very little conscience. Maybe your mom and pop store's got a conscience that will take you on your word and exchange a bad cucumber for a good cucumber, but your corporate establishment has no such conscience. Bernie offers ways to elevate the entire population of America other than the 5% who just want a free ride. It's always 4 to 5% in every country. They just want a free ride. And that's the way it is. And the morality of a country is measured by how we treat those who are going to do nothing. We don't just take them out and shoot them. We don't let them starve to death. Case in point, the entire Republican fucking party that's backing Donald Trump are among these poverty-ridden people. People don't have updated driver's license. They don't have inspections on their car. They sit at home at night and watch TV and use the word nigger. You know, they're just ignorant, bad, for the society people. But us progressives, us liberals, aren't giving up on them. We don't say they have earned it by their vote. And they have. They've earned it by their vote. Got a Republican vote that sings them a Bible verse and then goes and kisses the ass of Exxon, GE, Google, who the fuck ever to get the big bucks. If us liberals were like conservatives, we'd say, let them starve. They've earned it. They're freeloaders. Like white Kentucky is the #1 user of government subsidies to keep from starving to death. But see, we're not like conservatives. We want a president that's going to do good by the whole country, whether they've earned the reward for ignorant stupidity or not. Just because Bubba down south with his big old Confederate flag flying on his 30-year-old truck is as dumb as a rock doesn't mean he needs to starve. Okay, so there's where we got Bernie Sanders. He wants to lift the entire country up. I read 2 different reports today about how the United States is lagging further in education, especially in the ability to solve problems. We're a country that runs on sound bites. Okay, but don't let me get too far off the subject here. It cannot be Bernie or bust. It cannot be Bernie or nobody. It cannot be. Because those of you who are looking at the establishment policies of Hillary, which aren't good but can be improved, are failing to realize what the Republican goddamn party has in store for us that won't be improved upon, that will be the goddamn end. Donald Trump will export Muslims, and who's next? Jews, Polish, Italians. We know the Mexicans are going to take 11 million person boat ride out of here under Donald Trump. He's not going to cater to the poor. He don't give a damn about you. He's going to keep living the rich life. And 90% of Donald Trump's presidency is going to be about Donald Trump. And he's threatened over and over to drop the bombs, He said he will make torture come back and stronger, make it stronger than ever. He has no regard for the World Convention, Geneva. None whatsoever. There's our one option. And there's much more worse to it than that. Those are just the highlights. Ted Cruz, his dad's anointed him and a bunch of preachers as the answer to Christ. He is to come here and not be a president, but a fucking king who will unite the money, the money, into the hands of Christians in preparation for the return of Jesus, dick on the stick, Christ. And for any of you that think that I can be forgiven, and all of you who hope that I see the light one day, fuck you. The last light I want to see again is that blood red light of Christianity that I was born in. Logic. What creator of a universe could give one flying fuck for a dollar bill? Why do the Christians crave the money? They're tax-free already. Ted Cruz will be the anointed king of God. Those are our options. Those are the 2 front runners of the Republican Party. There will be no recovery from their presidency unless they catch the Kennedy route or the Martin Luther King route, which I'm not against. You know, there's going to be some good people with good intentions die today. And Ted Cruz ain't going to be one of them. And Donald Trump's not going to be one of them. And that saddens me. And that's just a terrible thing. No more Bernie or nobody. Bernie is the most moral, the most right, the most likable, the biggest problem solver, the most honest, by far the most honest candidate in the field for years and years. Now, I'm talking to you Clinton fans on that. You have a choice. You can get off of the lesser 2 evils bus and get on the completely pure bus within human capacity, pure, of Bernie Sanders. And then if Bernie don't make the nomination, we'll all go for Hillary. And if Hillary don't make the nomination, we'll all go for Bernie. because this is a war. This is a cultural war. It's a war for the world. It's a war for our freedom. Ted Cruz is going to take us back to the Europe that our founding fathers set up a government to escape from. Donald Trump's going to take us to places that will resemble history, but in some places will be new, and it'll be bloody, and it'll be hate-filled, and there'll be starvation, and there'll be civil war, and there'll be chaos. No more of this Bernie or nobody, Hillary or nobody. Look at the big picture. Bernie's pushed Hillary left. He can keep pushing her left and keep pushing her left and keep pushing her left. And we still got Elizabeth Warren working her ass off. And if Bernie doesn't make the nomination, you know, he might get a cabinet position. He might even ask to be vice president or get asked to be. And something people don't know about the vice president is they don't just sit around and show their face occasionally, because that's all they're allowed to do. A vice president can be appointed to anything that he or she agrees on that the president also agrees on. Bernie could become vice president and still take on all of these issues that he's talked about if Hillary makes president. The same with Elizabeth Warren. She could be appointed to a position to take on all these issues, but now she's got executive power behind her. Plus, the more powerful we become as a party, as a democratic, liberal, socialist party, the more likely it is that Republicans are just going to stay home and not vote. The real Republicans, the ones that are ashamed of Donald Trump. And there are millions of those. We got the millions of people who don't vote, who are out here pushing for Donald Trump, you know, that just intentionally stay ignorant. And I live around people. I witness intentional ignorance, you know, where they're smart otherwise, but you show them the fact, read them the numbers, show them the history. They just want you to hush up, go away with that. It disturbs my mind. Well, that's Donald Trump's base. Now, it's important to appeal to your base. And Bernie has his base. Clinton has her base. But the base has to be open-minded to take in more, because the base alone isn't enough to put a president in office. I've made a couple comments that Bernie's appealing to Republican voters, and what I get back is, look, the Republicans like Bernie, so he must not be worth a fuck. Bullshit. There are Republican voters who think. They don't study hard. They're indoctrinated through lineage, through their parents and grandparents, into conservative thinking. Change is hard for a lot of people, but yet they got some common sense. And they're attracted to Bernie, and that's a good thing. You know, what if you had a president that every goddamn body voted for? Liberal, libertarian, conservative alike, independent. Wouldn't that be the ideal president? Well, Bernie's closer to that than anybody since FDR. So get off of this either or kick. Either or is only for the Republican Party. I say without reserve, look you in the eye, the Republican Party is wrong about everything all the time. I'll give you an example where someone may argue that. Rand Paul introduced a bill to audit the Fed. Bernie signed it because Bernie's an open-minded, smart motherfucker. But guess what? Bernie had introduced that bill before. So there's nothing good that a Republican can do that hasn't already been tried or done by a liberal or a Democrat. The Republican Party is wrong about everything: evolution, climate change, theocracy, trickle-down economics. Every major thing that's holding our society back, the Republicans are wrong about. So we need a little more unification. Yeah, it's good to hold the candidates to the fire during the primaries here, running up to it. Hold their feet to the fire. Expose some things. And demand better of your candidate. Don't pull this either or, this baby fight shit. If I don't get mine, I ain't gonna do nothing. Fuck that shit. Our alternative is a hell on earth. And don't forget this one thing. Evolution happens real slow. Politics happen, changing politics happens a little faster, but it's still slow. So let's unify, figure out a way to get the very best person in the job, in the country, in the job, and quit handing a theocrat, an authoritarian, an oligarch, a fascist this presidency. I broke Lucy. Give me some feedback. Out.